Okay, so today we're gonna discuss something called scope. And what scope is that basically in which context of the level of an application that a variable belongs to. And you usually talk about the global scope and the local scope. And the global scope is when a variable lives in the root level of the application, basically, the root level of this file, and belongs to the window object. So if I would write a constant like this, const global constant, and then just set this to a string, I can be accessed all over the application. Then, since this constant isn't defined within a function, but right here in the root level application, it's a global constant or a global variable, and because of that, it's global. We can access it basically anywhere. So, for example, if I would wanna console.log this global constant, I could easily do it here. Just write here in the root, which we can see here, I can be accessed all over the application. But I can also create a function, for example, which I could call the const log variables equals, and I will set this to an arrow function. And what this function will do is it will basically just console.log and then global constant. And if we refresh this now and we press OK, we can see that, oh, sorry, I need to call this function as well. Log variables. And if we save this now and we refresh this, we can see that this is logged out twice here, since it's both logged out here and then it's logged out again through the calling of this function. So we can access this global constant here, or global variable, through within this log variables function. So that is a global variable. So what is a local variable? A local variable is a variable that lives only within the scope or the context of a function. So for example, if I would define a variable in here, or a constant, const local constant equals I can only be accessed within this function. So I could, for example, here console.log that constant here, console.log local constant, and that would work perfectly fine, since we're doing the console.log within this function here, and we're defining the constant within this function. So if we refresh now again, we can see that I can only be accessed within this function is printed out, since this runs when we call the log variables function. But what if I would try to console.log this local constant variable right here within the root? Local constant. And if I try to run this now, then we see that we get an error. Local constant is not defined. So the application can't recognize this variable here, and it returns as undefined since it belongs to the log variables function and can't be accessed from anywhere but within this function. And that's the difference between a global variable and a local variable. A local one can only be accessed and used within the scope of the function it belongs to, and a global one belongs to the window object and can be accessed from anywhere. And that is what we're going to cover regarding global variables and constant and local variables. And I will see you guys in the next video.